I didn't realize the horror began with something as small as forgetting where I placed my toothbrush. At first, it felt harmless. Annoying, maybe. The kind of thing exhausted mothers laugh off. I told myself it was stress. Of course it was stress. 8 children don't raise themselves. But forgetting has a smell. No one tells you that. It smells like something faintly rotten, like wet fabric left too long in the dark. And once it starts, it doesn't stop. I forgot names next. Not strangers, no. That would have been easier to admit. I forgot my daughter's name. The moment still claws at my mind. She stood there, smiling, waiting for me to say it. Just one word. Something I had whispered to her since she was born. And I couldn't. So I laughed. I laughed like it was a joke. God, I can still hear it. How wrong it sounded. Too sharp. Too hollow. Like someone else was using my voice. I'm kidding, I had said. But her smile didn't return. That was the first crack. I carried it alone. I had to. Because if I wasn't their mother, then what was I? There was no version of me that existed without them. No matter what happened, I was their mother. I am their mother. Then the blackouts began. They didn't feel like sleep. They felt like being erased. One second, I was cooking dinner, stirring something warm and familiar. And the next, I was mid-conversation. Words were leaving my mouth, but I had no memory of starting the sentence. My thoughts became fog. No, not fog. A void. A hollow, sucking emptiness. As if someone had reached inside my skull and scooped something out. Something important. Something mine. I'm not feeling well. I said it so often it became automatic. It was easier than saying, I think I'm disappearing. Or worse, I think something else is taking my place. It spread slowly, like a disease that didn't want to be noticed. Like cancer. And yet, they noticed. Of course they did. Children always notice. I forgot their favorite meals. I gave Anastasia peanut butter cookies. She's allergic. I knew she was allergic, didn't I? Her face when she looked at me, it wasn't anger. It was fear. Pure, quiet fear. That's when the paranoia began. Their whispers started sounding wrong. Too sharp. Too close. Too personal. I would turn my head, and they'd stop. Every time. Every single time. And their faces, God, their faces, they would tremble. Their lips would quiver like they were holding something back. Like they were watching something they couldn't understand. Something wearing me. But I was fine. I kept telling myself that. I had made an appointment with a neurologist. Right? Right? Hey, Mom. The voice snapped something inside me. I blinked. A boy stood in front of me. Tall. Too tall. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Mom, he said again. That's enough. Enough? Enough of what? I looked down. Milk was still pouring. Overflowing. Spilling over the bowl. Dripping onto the table, then the floor. But my hand hadn't stopped. I was still pouring. Silence filled the room. 8 pairs of eyes stared at me. Unblinking. Waiting. Watching. Judging. I grabbed a cloth. Started wiping. Didn't explain. Couldn't explain. Because I didn't understand it myself. Their names. Why couldn't I remember their names? I felt them. I knew they existed inside me somewhere. But it was like trying to grab smoke. Warmth touched my lip. I froze. Then slowly, I reached up. Blood. Thick. Sticky. Too much. Mommy. Anastasia leaned closer to her sisters. Whispering again. Always whispering. Always about me. Something snapped. A violent, ugly crack inside my chest. I slammed my fist onto the table. The sound echoed too loud. Too sharp. Too wrong. Stop it. I screamed. My voice tore out of me. I can hear you talking about me. Tears blurred my vision. Their faces, God, their faces, they looked shattered. And just like that, the anger died, leaving behind something worse. Shame. I'm sorry, I whispered. My voice felt smaller, weaker, like it didn't belong to me anymore. Mommy's just tired. Tired. Yes, that's what this was. Just exhaustion. Just stress. I stood up. Or tried to. My body felt heavy. Too heavy. Like it wasn't made for me anymore. I just need rest. Speaking felt harder than breathing. Harder than thinking. Harder than existing. Mom. The boy stepped closer. Adam. Yes. Adam. That's his name. His face blurred. Melted. Shifted slightly. No. No, that's not right. His fingers touched my head. Cold. Too cold. They slid down to my neck. Slow. Deliberate. Like he was checking something. Mom, he whispered. His voice wasn't right anymore. Too soft. Too close to my ear. Too deep inside my skull. What's my name? I smiled weakly. Everything felt distant, dreamlike, floating. Ace, I murmured, running my fingers through his hair. You're my son. And somewhere, deep inside me, something screamed that I knew something was wrong with my body, but I didn't expect it to detach. Ace was still in front of me, smiling, too calm, too patient, like he wasn't talking to a mother, but examining a broken object. You'll be okay, Mom, he said softly. His voice wrapped around my thoughts like something alive. Warm, sticky, wrong. I tried to hug him. I needed to feel something real, something human, something that would prove I wasn't losing myself. But the moment I lifted my arm, something slipped. There was no pain. That's what made it worse. No tearing, no burning, no warning. Just weight, suddenly gone. And then a sound, a wet, heavy thud. I looked down slowly, too slowly, like my brain was delaying the truth, begging for more time. My arm was on the floor. It wasn't bleeding, not the way it should. No violent spray, no desperate pulse. Just thick, dark fluid oozing out lazily, like something that had already accepted death. Adam, my voice cracked. No, not cracked. It glitched, like it didn't belong to one person anymore. I blinked, and something shifted. My vision tilted, no, detached. The world rolled sideways. The table, the floor, the legs of the chairs, and then darkness. A dull impact, followed by a slow, spinning movement. I wasn't standing anymore. I wasn't even looking from where I should have been. I was on the floor. No, worse. My eye was on the floor. I could see from it. See my own body, standing there. Crooked, incomplete. My head lighter, too light. My eye rolled slightly, bumping into something, then sliding under the table. Dust, crumbs, something sticky, something that looked like dried blood, but darker, older. I expected screaming, crying, panic, but none of my children screamed. Not one. Ace just frowned. He muttered, tilting his head, like something mildly inconvenient had happened. Behind him, another voice spoke. Zach, casual, unbothered. Yeah, attaching new arms was a bad idea. My thoughts shattered. What? Ace crouched down in front of me, or what was left of me. His fingers touched my face. Cold, precise, clinical. He lifted my chin, forcing my head, my remaining eye, to look at him. Whose stupid idea was it to give her arms? He said quietly. Zach shrugged behind him. I mean, we found her in a garbage can, he said. She needed them. Otherwise, how would she cook? Garbage can. The word echoed. Loud. Endless. Garbage. Me? Ace hissed softly, a sound too sharp for a human throat. Then he looked back at me and smiled. That smile, it stretched too far, pulled at the skin like it didn't fit, like it had been borrowed. Sorry, Mom, he said cheerfully. Just give me a second. Second for what? I tried to speak, to scream, to beg, but darkness swallowed me whole. Not sleep, not unconsciousness. This felt like being turned off. Everything stopped. Thought, sound, fear, gone. And yet, deep inside that nothingness, something remained. Something aware. Something that didn't belong to me. Something that was waiting. Waiting for me to come back. Waiting for control. Waiting to take over what was left. A sound dragged me back. Slow. Rhythmic. Relentless. Beep. 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 Each sound felt like a nail being tapped into my skull. Not painful. Just wrong. Like it didn't belong to a living body. I opened my eyes. This time, both of them. That realization hit me before anything else. Both eyes. Hadn't I? No, don't think about that. The ceiling above me was unfamiliar. Cracked. Stained. Yellowing at the edges like something had been leaking into it for years. The air smelled. God, it smelled like chemicals trying to hide rot. Bleach. Formaldehyde. Something metallic. Something sweet. Something dead. Good, a voice murmured. Synchronization is holding. I turned my head. Slow. Heavy. Ace sat beside me on the bed. Cross-legged. Calm. A laptop resting on his knees. Its glow reflected in his eyes, making them look hollow. Bottomless. I was 8, he said casually, not looking at me. My parents died. His fingers tapped the keyboard. Soft. Precise. Practiced. People called me a genius, he continued. I was supposed to start college at 9. He hit the space bar. Hard. The sound echoed too loudly. Too sharp. But then the world ended. My stomach dropped. He finally looked at me, smiling. A strain of bird flu, he said. It wiped out half the population. His smile widened. just a little too much. And the rest went insane. Something moved beside me. I froze. Slowly, I turned my head and saw him. A man, or what used to be one. His skull was open, split clean, like a lid had been peeled back and never closed. Wires spilled out of his head, thick, thin, some twitching slightly, as if they were still alive. His body, God, it wasn't whole. Different patches of skin stitched together. Different colors, different textures, different people. His arms didn't match. His legs didn't match. Nothing matched. He looked like a broken doll, forced into the shape of a human. I couldn't breathe. Beautiful, right? Ace said softly. I snapped my gaze back to him. He was watching me now, closely, carefully, like he was studying my reaction, recording it, learning from it. We're still working on him, he added. He's not stable yet. Stable. Like I was. Like I wasn't. My throat tightened. What? I tried to speak, but my voice came out wrong. Layered. Like two people were speaking at once. What am I? The room went quiet. Ace smiled. Slow. Deliberate. Satisfied. You don't remember? He asked. Something inside me screamed. No, I whispered. He closed the laptop. Gently. Carefully. Then he leaned closer. You were dead. The words didn't feel real. They threw you away, he continued. Like trash. Garbage. The word hit again. Harder this time. We found you, he said. In a garbage can. My vision flickered. Darkness. Flashes. Cold metal. The smell of rot. Something pressing against me. Other bodies. Other parts. You didn't have a head, Ace added casually. My breath stopped. Someone probably ate it, he shrugged. Food was scarce. My mind broke. Snapped. No, I whispered. But that was fine, he said quickly. Your body was still usable. Usable. I collected parts, he continued. Different bodies. Different pieces. His smile grew wider. Prouder. And then I gave you a new head. My hands trembled. Instinctively, I reached up, touched my face. Skin. Warm. Soft. But it didn't feel like mine. It felt attached. Like it had been placed there. Like it could be removed. You're perfect, Ace said. Perfect. For us. My heart pounded. Too loud. Too uneven. You needed a purpose, he continued. And we needed a mother. Something inside me twisted violently. A memory surfaced, not mine, hands. Not my hands. Holding a child. Crying. Gone. Not mine. They were losing their humanity, Ace said softly. They needed love. Love. This wasn't love. This was, I gave them you. I stared at him, horrified. You're not sick, Mom, he whispered. His fingers gently brushed my cheek. You're just waking up. And in that moment, I realized something worse than death. I wasn't forgetting. I was remembering that I shouldn't have been able to move. After everything I had just learned, after everything I was, my body should have refused. Collapsed. Shut down. But it didn't. It obeyed. That was the worst part. Ace helped me sit up. His hands steady. Practiced. Like he had done this before. Many times. You're better now, he said softly. Better. The word echoed in my skull like a lie trying to convince itself it was truth. I didn't argue. Didn't scream. Didn't run. Because something inside me had already accepted it. Or worse, something inside me agreed. I stood. My legs trembled, but not from weakness. From unfamiliarity. Like I was learning how to use them again. Each step felt slightly off. Too smooth. Too controlled. Like I wasn't walking. I was being operated. The kitchen looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. The colors were duller. The shadows deeper. And the silence, it wasn't empty. It was watching. Mommy. Anastasia's voice cut through everything. Bright. Cheerful. Too cheerful. She ran toward me, wrapped her arms around my waist. I froze. Her touch was warm. Real. Alive. Unlike me. Do you feel better? She asked, looking up at me with wide eyes. Her face. Perfect. Too perfect. No. Not perfect. Practiced. Of course, sweetheart. I heard myself say. The voice came out naturally. Too naturally. Like it wasn't the first time I had said those words. But it was. Wasn't it? Yay, she giggled. The other children gathered around. 8 of them. 8 pairs of eyes. All staring. All waiting. For something. For me. I turned toward the counter. Breakfast. Yes. That's what mothers do. They make breakfast. My hands moved on their own. Bowls. Cereal. Milk. Routine. Familiar. Safe. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. As I poured the cereal, a thought slipped into my mind. Soft. Quiet. End it. My hand paused, then continued. Without my permission, I reached under the sink, pulled out a bottle. Clear. Thick. Drain cleaner. I stared at it. My reflection warped in the plastic. Not my face. Someone else's. Mom. One of them spoke. Too late. I tilted the bottle and poured. The liquid mixed with the cereal. Silent. Invisible. Deadly. Good morning, my little devils. The words left my mouth before I could stop them. I froze. Devils? The room went quiet. Too quiet. Then, footsteps. Heavy. Dragging. Wet. I turned. Slowly. And saw him. The man. The father. He walked into the room, smiling. Confident. Wrong. Half of his brain hung outside his skull. Wires dragged behind him like veins that refused to die. His stitched body moved unnaturally, jerking slightly with each step. Daddy! The children screamed in joy. They ran to him, hugged him, clung to him. Like this was normal. He laughed. The sound was broken, glitching, like a voice forced through something that didn't understand speech. He walked toward me, took the bowl from my hands, looked inside, paused. Then, slowly, he poured it out. The cereal hit the sink with a wet, acidic hiss. He leaned closer to me. His breath, God, it smelled like decay trapped inside something still trying to live. Let's give them something they'll really enjoy, he stuttered. His lips stretched into a smile. But his eyes were screaming. He placed something in my hand. A small bottle. Pills. My fingers closed around it automatically, like I already knew what to do. He winked. But it wasn't playful. It was a warning. Then, suddenly, his grip tightened around my wrist. Hard. Too hard. Pain shot through me. Real. Sharp. Proof that I could still feel. That sounds good, right, darling? His voice trembled. But not from weakness. From fear. Not fear of me. Fear of them. And in that moment, I understood something far worse than death. This wasn't a family. This was a system. And I wasn't the mother. I was just a necessary part. The pills felt heavy in my hand. Too heavy. Like they carried something more than just chemicals. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't breathe. Because something inside me had started shifting. Not physically. Mentally. Like doors were opening, one by one, inside my head. Memories. But not my memories. I saw a woman, standing in a kitchen, laughing. Only 2 children. Not 8. Her hands, not my hands. Her voice, not my voice. Gone. A man, running, screaming. Fire everywhere. His skin melting. His lungs collapsing. His last breath, burning. Gone. A child, curled in a corner. Hungry. Crying for a mother that never came. That feeling, that emptiness, it stayed longer than the others. I gasped, falling back slightly. My hands shook violently. How many? I whispered. My voice cracked under the weight of realization. How many people am I? The room didn't answer, but something else did. From behind me, Ace. Not people, he said calmly. I turned slowly. He was standing there again. Watching. Always watching. Parts, he corrected. My stomach twisted. You're not a person anymore, he continued. You're a collection. A collection. My hands looked foreign. My skin, different tones. Different textures. Subtle. But now I could see it. Stitches. Faint. Hidden. Everywhere. I needed durability, Ace said, almost proudly. Some parts fail faster than others. Fail. You were the most stable combination so far, he added. So far. My heart dropped. How many times? I whispered. This time he smiled. That same smile. Too wide. Too knowing. 7. The word hit harder than anything else. 7 mothers. 7 bodies. 7 failures. You're the 8th, he said softly. 8. My children. 8 children. My breath stopped. No. No, no, no. They're not all mine, I whispered. Ace tilted his head. Curious. No, he said. Silence. Then, he stepped closer. They're not even siblings. Something inside me broke again. Each one of them, he continued, came from somewhere else. My vision blurred. Different families. Different deaths. Different endings. Collected. Like you. I stumbled back. Looking at them. Really looking at them, for the first time. Their faces, subtle differences. Different skin tones. Different features. Different origins. But something connected them. Their eyes. All of them. Had the same look. Hunger. Not for food. For something deeper. Something darker. They needed structure, Ace said. They needed something to hold them together. A mother. My stomach twisted violently. And you needed purpose. No, I whispered. But the truth was already inside me. Growing. Spreading. Do you know what happens, Ace said softly, when they don't have one? Silence. They start remembering. Cold rushed through my body. And when they remember, his smile widened. They stop pretending to be human. A sound came from behind me. A low, wet, gurgling sound. I turned slowly. Anastasia was staring at her reflection in a spoon. Her smile too wide, stretching, far beyond what a human face should allow. Her jaw cracked, just a little, but enough. Mommy, she whispered. Her voice layered, like mine had been. Are we still pretending today? The spoon fell from my hand. And in that moment, I understood everything. This wasn't about survival. This wasn't about family. This was about control. And I was the only thing, keeping them from becoming something else. Something far worse. The house was too quiet. Not peaceful. Not calm. Waiting. 8 children sat at the table. Perfectly still. Perfectly aligned. Watching me. Not like children. Like something wearing children. The pills were still in my hand. Cold. Heavy. Important. I could feel it now. That thin line. The only thing holding them together. Me. If I broke, they would too. And not in a way the world could survive. Mommy. Anastasia's voice. Soft. Sweet. Wrong. Her cracked smile hadn't fully gone back to normal. It twitched. Like something underneath her skin was trying to come out. Are we eating? The others didn't speak. But their eyes were screaming the same question. Behind me, I felt him. The father. Standing there. Watching. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. His grip from before still burned in my wrist. A warning. Or a plea. Maybe both. I looked down at the pills. Then at the bowls. Then at them. 8 children. Not siblings. Not human. Waiting for their mother. And suddenly, I understood something terrifying. They didn't need love. They needed containment. If I stopped, if I refused, if I tried to run, they would remember. Fully. And whatever they really were, wouldn't stay here. The world had already ended once. Ace told me that. Maybe this was what survived. I picked up the bowls. One by one. Placed them in front of them. My hands were steady now. Too steady. Like I had done this before. Many times. Eat, I said softly. My voice didn't shake. It didn't feel like mine anymore. They smiled. All of them. At the same time. Too wide. Too synchronized. Too hungry. They began eating. Slowly. Watching me the entire time. Every bite. Crunching louder than it should. Wet. Thick. Like something alive was being crushed between their teeth. I didn't look away. I couldn't. Because I knew. If I did, they would change. Behind me, I heard the father step closer. Then, a whisper. You're doing the right thing. His voice was broken. But his meaning was clear. I didn't answer. Because deep down, I knew the truth. There was no right thing. Only necessary things. When they finished, they stood up together. 8 chairs sliding back at once. Perfect. Thank you, Mommy, they said. In unison. And then, they left. Just like that. The house fell silent again. I stood there. Still. Empty. The pills were gone. The bowls were empty. And I was still here. Still functioning. Still holding. Ace appeared in the doorway. Watching me. Proud. You're stable, he said. Stable. I laughed. A quiet, broken, empty laugh. Do you remember who you were? He asked. I thought about it. Really thought. Faces. Voices. Lives. Gone. All gone. I shook my head. No, I said. And this time, it didn't hurt. Ace smiled. Satisfied. Good, he said. And just like that, I understood. I wasn't losing myself anymore. I had already lost. And in its place, something else had taken root. Something stronger. Something necessary. Something perfect for them. The next morning, I woke up early. Made breakfast. Smiled. Acted normal. Because that's what mothers do. No matter what they are. If you made it this far, something definitely isn't right. What would you do in her place? Run, or become what they need? Comment below. And don't forget to subscribe for more extreme horror stories.